Introduction to Jeremiah. Author Jeremiah as dictated to his secretary Baruch. Date written between 627 and 580 BC. Time span 40 to 47 years. Jeremiah's ministry begins under Judah's last good king Josiah and continues under the remaining four evil kings. Jehoahaz, Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim, 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 Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah. Title: The book is named after the author, the prophet Jeremiah. Background: Although 70 years earlier Assyria was powerful enough to destroy the northern kingdom of Israel, her power has since declined, and Babylon eventually defeats both Assyria and Egypt to attain world supremacy. Jeremiah's life covers the 40 years that leads to the destruction of Jerusalem, also at the hands of Babylon. Other prophets of the time include Zephaniah, Habakkuk, Daniel, and Ezekiel. Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, begins his ministry from Jerusalem when he is about 20 years old. Autopsy, idolatry, and perverted worship are the rule of the day in Judah. Where written, probably Jerusalem. However, some scholars suggest Egypt. To whom? Primarily to the nation of Judah, but also to all the surrounding nations. Content: Jeremiah boldly undertakes the unenviable task of proclaiming God's judgment on an unrepentant nation. He even remains celibate as a sign the judgment will come during his lifetime. Jeremiah chapter 16, which it surely does. Persecution becomes his lot when false prophets of the land, such as Hananiah, Hananiah, tell the people what they desire to hear rather than the truth of God. Jeremiah's unpopular message brings him sorrow and opposition, imprisonment, excommunication from the temple, and beatings. Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 38. Nothing can stop Jeremiah. Yet, even as he prophesies destruction, Jeremiah promises a coming time of blessings, restoration, and new covenant. After Judah's exile to Babylon, he remains with the remnant of Jerusalem. But when Gilead, Gedaliah, the governor placed over Jerusalem, is murdered, Jeremiah is taken as a hostage to Egypt, where he continues his prophetic ministry. Keywords: sin and weeping. It is the responsibility of Jeremiah to proclaim Judah's coming judgment for her continuance in sin, for the people's wickedness is too great. Jeremiah is weeping not only for his own persecutions, but also for his nation's bitter afflictions. Theme: God is patient and loving. God's love for us may require divine discipline for our own good. It grieves the heart of God to have to discipline his children. Nations that reject God will pay the price for their disobedience. The time to repent and turn to God is now. God may have to rebuke sin in our lives, but he will never abandon or forsake us. Outline. Number 1, the call of Jeremiah is found in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 1 through 19. Number 2, prophecies against Judah. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 1 through Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 32. Number 3, the future restoration of Israel. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 1 through Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 26. Number 4, the fall of Jerusalem and her flight to Egypt. Jeremiah chapter 34, verse 1 through Jeremiah chapter 45, verse 5. Number 5, prophecies against the foreign nations. Jeremiah chapter 46, verse 1 through Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 64. And number 6, the capture and destruction of Jerusalem. Jeremiah chapter 52, verses 1 through 34. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of the book of Jeremiah.